Kariuki.
Recording in progress.
Karibuni sana. Thank you so much for joining us. We see we have quite a number of participants. We thank God that this day has finally come. We want to thank every one of you for taking your time to join us. And we don't take it for granted that our session is happening this evening. And so just as I welcome you, I know some of us are part of the Global Leadership Network. You may have been invited by a friend of yours, and it doesn't matter in what capacity that you have joined this meeting, you'll get to know who we are just in a short while. But I'm sure the reason why you joined this particular session, I'm sure you must have seen a poster or a Zoom link that was sent to you, and it's just exciting to learn more together. My name is Ruth Gedenji. I am a member of this great leadership network, and I'm just excited to be here. I am looking forward to learn a lot from one of the best that we have. Maybe just before we bring her over, I'd just like to just talk a little bit about the Generational Leadership Network. And it's basically what I've mentioned. It's a network of leaders, and sometimes we think of leaders as those people who are up there in the limelight where we see them. But if I would just read our vision, you would find your place. And I'm just doing this in case we have somebody who has never been here before. And so this is a network where we believe that we are having a generation of thinker who is purpose-centered, vision-driven, leader in every home, organization, and country. So I'm sure you have seen yourself where you belong. Each and every one of us is a leader. And the mission of this organization is to equip and transform leaders globally with contemporary leadership skills, knowledge, and attitudes to achieve their full potential. And we talked about contemporary leadership. Yes, one of the things you notice is that we have everybody in this organization. We have young people, we have people with middle experience, we have people who are very experienced, we have people who have done it all, bought many t-shirts, and right now they are giving back to the society. So everybody's here. So there's a space for everybody. So welcome so much. We do a lot of trainings. I think we're going to be talking about that towards the end. But the session today is a session that we refer to as the monthly reflection. We have a monthly session that happens every month, and where we come to reflect as leaders, and we have people amongst us, and sometimes those that are not amongst us, but authorities in different spheres of influence. So we just come to refresh and sharpen ourselves. And we talk about everything from mental health to leadership to business. It's the topics are just not exhaustive. And today's topic is exciting, very exciting. I'm really looking forward to hear more. We've been talking about being a strategic leader, and one of the things about strategic leadership is agility. And today's topic, very excited about it, and we are going to be looking at a case study on strategic organization agility from one of us. But before we continue, I want to request us to make use of our chat section. And you can just introduce yourself, tell us who you are, what your expectations are. Let's interact. I'll be reading the chats as we go along. So please tell us where you're logging in from. We also recognize that the Generational Leadership Network is a network for people not in Kenya. As much as it was founded in Kenya, we have we have people from all over the place. So let us know where you're coming from. We also recognize that it's not only in Nairobi. So you could be in Kenya, but you're not in Nairobi. Please just let us know from the chat. Let's interact as we go along. Of course, I know we are very excited about today's session. And I was talking about the topic where we are going to be handling today. We are going to be talking about strategic organization, agility. You know, in this day, if you don't do things very fast, you will be overtaken by events. In GLN, we've learned a lot. We've done many case studies of companies that just didn't do anything wrong, but they were just not agile enough for them to take advantage of the moving trends. And so today with us, I do not want to take much time on the introduction. You need to see herself. You need to see her, Dr. Grace, Kariuki, Dr. Grace Thuku Kariuki is a program coordinator at Equity Group Foundation. She's an ILO certified SIYB trainer. She's a mentor. She's all over in the media. If you're in GLN and you haven't interacted or come across Grace, I think you're going to see this face and you'll realize that you have. She's a certified trainer. I would also want to add that she's a wife and a mother, and she's a leader in many, many aspects. And so I would want to introduce her right now to take up the floor and take us through this topic of interest to many of us, if not all of us. And we really, really look forward to hearing about this case study. It will be of importance to us to know how we will apply principles that will help us in our leadership journey as individuals and also as the organizations where we are. So, Dr. Grace, this is your moment. I wish to welcome you. I know other people are still joining, so they will find us. And if you're there, you can just put a reaction. You can just put a welcome emoji as we welcome our speaker for today. Yes. Let me see some reactions, some virtual claps. Thank you. Thank you. I can see that. Thank you, Susan Kemani. Thank you, Joseph Kiarie, Mr. President. We'll be talking about you later. Thank you so much, Alex Chunguli. Yes, Grace, you are well appreciated. People are looking forward to hear from you. Put something on the chat. But for now, I just want to welcome our speaker. Karibu sana, Dr. Grace. We really look forward to hear from you.
Thank you very much. Kindly confirm whether you can hear me.
We can hear you loud and clear, and we can see your presentation. Thank you.
I wanted to request Susan to start with a word of prayer. Susan, if you're there, kindly start with a word of prayer. Reverend Anne, kindly start with a word of prayer.
Yes, let's pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, you are able to be present this evening. We thank you for the way you have carried us from morning up to this far. Even as we interact in this session, we pray that God, your guidance shall reign upon our lives. Be together with all of us, and even our facilitator as she takes us through. And we pray that God, the Holy Spirit shall lead her. We pray all this believing and trusting in Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Awesome. Thank you very much. I want to welcome all of us to today's meeting. Feel at home. We are here to do a few things. And one, for me, I'm here to network and also to learn from you. I would like you to go to the chat and share with us what would you like to know today. When you heard about the topic for today, strategic organization agility, what came to your mind? What would you like to learn? So or you can also unmute and let us know what would you like to know. Kindly, you can unmute, somebody can unmute and tell us what would you like to know. You can go to the chat and let us know what would you like to know for a minute. You're welcome. Anybody can go first. Anybody can write on the chat. Yeah, awesome. Anne is saying the strategy we can apply in an organization. Nice. Thank you very much. Somebody else, kindly let us know what you'd like to learn today. You can unmute. I'll take one more. Kindly let us know what you do like to learn today. One more. You can unmute. Yeah, I look forward to hear a success story. That is a nice one. Thank you very much. So I would like us to go straight to the presentation for today. And my name is Grace Kariuki. I am a graduate of Generational Leadership Network, and I'm happy to be here today. It is a privilege. Yeah, Teresia is saying how to penetrate new market. Awesome. And actions to take in today's dynamic world. Nice. Actions to take in today's dynamic world. Nice. Then Meliod is saying actions to, yeah, that is Meliod. Naomi is saying strategies to enable an organization to stay afloat. Thank you very much. Yeah, so I was saying I am a graduate of Generational Leadership Network. And it is always a pleasure to get together as a family and to learn from one another. And I look forward to you guys graduating and also meeting together with networking with each other. So the first thing I want us to ask ourselves, what comes to your mind when you think about strategy? And strategies, we have different levels of strategies. We have personal strategy. Where do you see yourself in the next 2 years? By the end of this year, where do you see yourself? In the next 5 years, where do you see yourself? We have family strategy as a family. And remember, that is the goal of GLN. We are looking at personal leadership, family leadership, and then we extend it to our teams at work, to the organization, and then to the globe. So when we think about family strategy, what are we thinking? What are we talking about? Kindly go to the chat or unmute. When you think about team strategy, what are we talking about? And even now to the next level, when we think about organization strategy, what are we talking about? What comes to your mind? For example, do we have personal strategies? Yeah, maybe I can take one or two answers. The continuity of an organization, that is nice. So when we think about organization strategy, we are thinking about continuity of an organization. Then Pamela is saying more on how to ensure that as a leader, my team has a buy-in on my vision. Awesome. That is what she would like to learn. The laws and rules that keep us going on. Nice. Those are very nice answers. And in adult learning, all answers are right. So thank you very much for the engagement. And in addition, when we talk about strategy, we are talking about a pattern or plans that integrate an organization's main goal. All organizations, they have a goal that is major, or what we call a main goal. And then it integrates the policies that will help in the actualization of that goal, and also the actions or what we call activities. So those three things, when we talk about a strategy, we are looking at the goal of an organization, the policies that are used in order for us to achieve the goals, and also what are the small daily activities that must be used for us to achieve the goal of an organization. In a strategy, we are talking about a pattern in a main stream of actions. So in any strategy, there are actions. Remember, there's someone has said they would like to know how can an organization stay afloat amidst what is going on in their activity. What are those actions? What action points? What are those activities that we must do? So it has something to do also with planning of different things. And one of the things we plan is resources. And resources come in different folds. If you're a manufacturing company, we'll be talking about raw materials. If you're in service industry, we'll be talking about the staff that work for you. And if you're in, let's say, in financial, like as in financial companies, we are talking about cash. So the planning of those resources has something to do with strategy. That's what we call strategy. And Thomson and Martin said, strategies are means to ends. Means, how do we get to the end? How we get there to the end, those are the strategies. So those are some of the examples. So I want now to ask, and we can quickly go to the chat place or even unmute. I want us to connect strategic agility in organizations. So now we have our second word, that is agility. And remember, this agility will not be a standalone. I want us to keep that at the back of our mind. When we talk about personal agility, when we talk about family agility, when we talk about team agility, organization agility, what comes to our mind? Let me also put it this way. When you hear the word agility, what comes to your mind? A synonym, for example, for the word agility. Kindly share with us. What comes to your mind? For a minute, you can share with us. When you think, what do you think? When you think about agility or being agile, which words come to your mind? We can have 2-3 suggestions on the same. And you can even give an example. You can unmute. I want to hear voices today. When we talk about agility, what are we talking about? Maybe you contribute, please. You may log in. Da, have you logged in? The meeting? No. Yeah. Thank you very much. So it means remaining in the focus. Remaining in the focus, swiftness. Yeah, nice. That's a nice one. Ruth, swiftness, flexibility, ability, mold to fit. Nice. Thank you very much. And remember, the word agility, when I was going through my presentation, I came to realize that for an organization to be called an agile one, it depends on people. So it has to start with you and I as persons, then it has to graduate to our families, and then to our teams, and then to the organization, and then to the globe. So I'll keep on referring to personal agility, family agility. I love what Susan has said. She's saying adaptability, and also Alex is saying speed. Awesome. So those are some of the words that come into mind of many of us when we think about agility. And remember, at the end of the day, for our organizations to be called agile, even our personal lives must answer to agility. Our families, none of us wants to start a family and then in the course of time, because we come from different backgrounds, we are not able to hold it together. We want to be among the ones who will be testifying that, yes, this is where we have come, this is how we have adapted, this is how we have focused our different goals to be able to move together. And the same case with our teams and organizations. Yeah. So I want us now to move on to the next thing and find out what others have said. I'm sure you can see so many words here that talk about what being agile is. It means about quick, active, words like rapid, smart, rush, rush. There is a hurry, doing something in a hurry, graceful, haste, quick, prompt, yeah, sprintly, speedily, resourceful, all those are the definition. And so all the answers you said were correct. So when you talk about agile, according to Human Digital, it means that it's something that is done in pieces or sprints. Now, with each sprint, there is something that is building up. It is like building up blocks or ladders as we move up. And it helps to improve from the lessons that once we split and we stop, we learn from that lesson, from that sprint. What are the lessons? And it doesn't matter whether it's a failure or a success. So that sprint should be able to give us some lessons. So it is normally a process or an approach, and it has something to do with our mindset. Being agile has everything actually to do with our mindset. So it's about being efficient in different things we are going to see. And one of them is communication. We are not saying this is what the process and the procedure says. But for now, we overlook what normally happens just to make sure that our customer gets something done with speed, efficiently. We overlook things like email chains that have to be we say they have to be authorized. There's somebody who will check on it, another one authorizes. By the time the email is getting back to you, 7 people on the list. So in agility, we say it overlooks all that, but we want something efficiently done. We cut even on excessive meetings. So if an assignment comes to your desk, immediately you think about how to do it without even having a meeting. Because the more meetings we have, the more we delay the process. So we are always looking at fast, speedy results. And then what we want to see is when we talk about the strategy, this is what we want to see. Adaptability, somebody who is able to convert themselves very quickly from this point to this one. For example, at our different places where we work, or even in our families, we are able to do not only the task that is ours, but even other tasks that are not ours, as long as there's a customer who needs to be satisfied, who needs to be attended to. And then what this does, it makes us leaders in the marketplace and gives us a very competitive edge at the end of the day. That is what we mean by being agile. So in tactical terms, we experiment most of the times because we have not done it before. So we are doing it not previously, not from the history, but a customer has come and they have said, I am looking for a chair. Let us go to the manufacturers of chairs. I'm looking for a chair that has that has maybe 5 sets. It is 5 sets in one. I also want it to be brown. I want it to have a metallic back, something that has not been done. But because we are adaptable and flexible, our tactic is we want to experiment and see, can we satisfy that customer? So we don't rely on what we have done before. So we live in there now, and this helps us to prepare for the future. Because in the future, if a customer comes and they order for something close to that, from the experience, from the lessons we learned from this customer, we are able now to do a good job. So in operations, we normally say we want to deliver fast, very fast. And not only deliver very fast and with speed, we want to give quality. And we also want to give value to our customers. That is what we mean by being agile. So in business, you can see the example that we have. It talks about being very flexible, as you can see. Adaptability, we have talked about it very well. There is a lot of coordination. Why? No task will be accomplished without us working as a team. So we will have to coordinate from the leadership to the implementers, to the people who will deliver the seat, for example, from the workshop to the customer's home. That coordination has a lot to do with agility. And also there's a balance. We must make profit, for example. If we're in business, we have to make profit. When we are dealing with customers, we must ensure our customers get the best. So when we talk about agility, we are talking about many different aspects. We are talking about processes and systems and tools. How is our process? Does it take 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours? Can it take 30 minutes? What systems do we have, for example? How do we reach out to our customers? How do we get feedback? What tools do we need and what tools do we use? Then we also have the aspect of leadership, and that's why we are here as leaders. This is one of the aspects that I'm very sure we learned in the course of our leadership program, that leaders must always be agile. So leadership is also at the core of any organization that is working towards becoming strategically agile. Then there's a lot of decision making to be done. And this decision making, they will not only be done by the leadership, even the people at the middle, even the people at the very low place, yeah? They make decisions. And remember, we have said agility helps us to cut down on the time taken because we want to deliver very fast, quality, and give value to our customers. So the decisions that are made, even if they make wrong decisions, for example, the teams that we are working with, even if they make wrong decisions or they fail in their decision making, we do not, we don't take them, we do not punish them for that. But from that decision that they made, we draw lessons. And so they become very motivated. Next time, they will make another decision, but now it will be a better one. So we also look at the organizational structure, and where we have hierarchies, we cut down on them just to ensure that things are well delivered on time and very fast, and quality and value is included. We also look at capabilities, and in agility also we say teams and their abilities and their talents are well discovered. Because unless you give somebody an assignment, you will never know what they can be able to do. But with agility, it is like making people work freely, making decisions, and that way you are able to discover what people can be able to do. It also has something to do with teams, because in any decision making, in the process, in the system, and in the structure, we will not work alone. We will have to work with teams. So we want to see, now we were talking about strategic agility in organizations. So we want to look at these other parts. When we talk about an organization, what are we talking about? We are talking about a group of people who relate to each other. So who are we talking about? We are talking about our families. We are talking about our teams. We are talking about our organizations, and we are talking about the globe. Because as leaders, we will not only lead here in Kenya, we will be leading in the world. So how will we be able to interact with different organizations, different group of people, and they have different ways of thinking, they come from different walks of life? How will we be able to deal with them? So normally, we say that an organization has people who normally have a common goal. We have looked at that. And we talked about a goal having policies and that need activities for them to be achieved. So an organization, remember, it is composed of individuals who make the different groups. And what are we talking about? It has to be having a continuous aspect in it. So an organization is called an organization when it has a continuous aspect of it. And that is why I started by saying, even our families, as we are discussing today, let us have our families at the back of our mind. So strategic agility, that is when we put the two together, is the ability to think and act differently. Thinking outside the box, thinking beyond. We are going to see some of the words that we are going to be using moving forward. And this ability requires some quick actions, some quick changes. Why? Because in the business, somebody talked about the business environment that we have right now. It requires us to quickly change in the external environment or in the marketplace for us to have the competitive edge. So the actions we take must be very fast. So as organizations, the ability for the organizations to see and shift their businesses according to the environment as it is changing. That is what we call strategic agility. And so it requires an organization to be very flexible and adaptable, not to be saying, this is what we do. I remember some time back, we had an organization that used to make cooking fat that had a steel container. If you remember a container like this, they used to have a steel container that never used to have an opening. So you'd buy the cooking oil, and then you use a knife to cut there so that you're able to remove the cover, and then you're able to use the fuel, the oil for cooking. But then with time, the environment changed. So they brought a plastic one, a plastic container that you could open easily and then close easily. Somebody was telling us the other day that people loved it so much they never went back to the other one. The other one would be used by people who are selling cereals in the market. I know you can identify with that. But now this other plastic container had an advantage. The children who are in that home would use the container to carry lunch, and they go to school, they come back. They would even carry some water and drink the water. Now we have moved on, and we have people who are doing now liquid cooking oil, and they are putting them in plastic bottles. So all you need is just to open, and you pour, and then you cook. So that's what we are saying, adapting to the environment as the environment is changing. So an organization that is thinking strategically in matters agility, they normally recognize and capitalize on opportunities, which is the next opportunity. And before the competition picks up the opportunities, they're able to run with it. They also identify potential threats. If we stay on with the steel container and fat, and medics are saying when we cook using the fat is not good for us because we are going to get cholesterol, what will that do? It will be a potential threat to our organization that is making cooking oil. So we must think potential threats and come up with ways, opportunities, and how do we adapt to something different. So once we identify the potential threat, these organizations are able to prevent these threats by thinking, how do we change quickly? And also, they don't think alone. What they do, they use the team members that they have. They recognize that everybody has the ability. So they bring in the teams together and they ask them, how can we become competitive in the market? So the teams are able to give ideas, and from the ideas, they are able now to collect and move forward. So what we normally say is that leaders with strategic agility, they normally see, they can see, they have the vision to see, and they're able to respond to changes very fast before the rivals are able to do that. So some of the characteristics of agile organizations is that they have a shared purpose. Well, what do we mean by shared purpose? That they're able to bring all the teams together and tell them, where do we move from here? In the next 2 years, how would you like us to organize maybe our marketing department, our production line, and so on and so forth? So our customer service, how would you like us to have it? So once they have it, they are able now to inculcate whatever they have come up with to the whole of the team. From the person at the gate or at the door, the soldier person, the person sitting at the reception, the person cooking tea, the person serving the customers, everybody else is able to know this is the organization and these are the goals. This is the vision, this is the mission. And you will find this in all the many organizations that are well established. Once you get in through the door, you'll find a chart on the wall that is clear on their purpose, that is clear on their mission, their vision, some of the values that they have, you will see that. And these ones we are going to see as we go on. This is a shared purpose for everyone. Everybody, you will find that everybody on every desk, they treat you the same, meaning they have a shared purpose. Then an agile organization normally employs something we call transparency and knowledge sharing. It is not only one person. No person is a tree of knowledge. It's not only one person who knows how things can be done. So the moment they're on leave, things are at standstill because people cannot be able to work. No, an agile organization makes sure that everybody is a universal person in that organization. From the person standing at the door, if you ask them, what do I need for me? Let me use an example of the person who is manufacturing, maybe the seat, yeah? At the person standing at the door, who is welcoming and ushering them in. If they ask them, I want just a stool, they'll go ahead and ask you want it from which tree? Mahogany or this other one, blue gum and all that. Once you specify, that person will not refer you to somebody else, but they'll quickly say, if you want this measurement, it is 2,000. If you want this measurement, it is 4,000. If you want it done like this, they'll be able to tell you. So there's a lot of knowledge sharing. And now with the coming of technology, things are easily shared online, to your phone, your email and all that, so that everybody can keep abreast. Then there's a lot of focus on customer value. And this is where we say they are able to tell everyone within the organization that we want to deliver very, very fast, and we want to deliver quality, and we want whatever the customer wants to be delivered on time. So their focus is normally on customer value, and they do not want the customer experience to be diluted no matter what. So there's also a lot of frequent feedback loops, from whichever corner the feedback comes from. They embrace it very well, and they are able to align. Whether positive or negative, whatever feedback they get, they're able to align very well. Then there is cross-functional communication. This is where it's not only coming from top to bottom, but even sideways, even bottom to up. There's a lot of communication that goes on with agile organizations. Then there's always something we call continuous improvement. And this one we also learned as leaders, that we have not finished yet sharpening our axis. We would rather sharpen our axis 90% and work just 10%. So in agile organization, you will hear people going for trainings, meetings, exposures, there is a refresher course going on, and so on and so forth. So those are some of the characteristics. So we have talked about shared purpose, which is also known as collective commitment. We have also talked about strategic sensitivity. This is whereby we said every team member matters. It's not only the leadership. We have also talked about resources. That one I will not repeat. So let us go now to the benefits of strategic agility in organization. So once we become agile, adaptive, flexible, and we are able to receive feedback from the customers and align ourselves, we are able to change, we are able to deliver fast, we are able to deliver value and quality to our customers. These are some of the benefits that we will receive. One, we will assure our organization of growth. Growth does not just happen. Any growth of any organization, even a family, even a team, when you talk about a family, you look at where you were last year or the last 2 years and ask each other in the family, where do you see us in the next 2 years? In the next 1 year, where do you see ourselves? Now, for the growth to be seen from one level to the other, a lot of agility must be there, a lot of adaptability. Some of the things we will be able to do them very fast, and then quality and all that, flexibility, some things that we really wanted to do might have to wait, and that's what we call flexibility. So when we embrace agility in the organization, there's a lot of growth and also profitability, and we can see it from the performance of the business. For the leaders, they are able to anticipate and deal with the environment that we are talking about. We are talking about the VUCA environment that is very volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. So agile leaders are able to deal with that environment. But the ones who are not flexible, the ones who are static, the ones who keep on referring us to the, when we started the organization, this is what we used to do. They have forgotten that now we are in a different generation. They'll not be able to handle such. But agile leaders who also incorporate agile teams, they are able now to deal with anything that comes on in the organization, be it a customer who is not even satisfied. They're able to calm them down, they're able to make them satisfied, serve them quickly with value, with a smile even, and then the customer is able to be retained and bring them business, more business. So leaders and team members are, when they embrace agility, they become courageous and they're also willing to take up risks. Most of the times, because we have talked about continuous learning, the organizations that are not agile, they do not have that room for people to, even to take risks. People are told this is it and you cannot even bend. It also empowers both leaders and team members to watch and also identify emerging opportunities. This is whereby everybody is brought on the table and they are asked, why were we not able, what areas did we do well last year? Everybody is able to say, and then they also ask, what areas were we not able to do? So team members and leaders are able to identify, because they're also members of the larger community, they're able to identify opportunities in the environment, and especially from rivals and competition. And so they're able to bring them in the organization. And that is where, when we talked about the growth and profitability of the organization. So another benefit is that agility helps organization to give priority to speed. Remember that one of the words that we saw that means the same as agile is speed. It has to be done with speed. Not necessarily perfect, but speed must be there. And that's why we said, even if a team member fails, we do not rebuke them, but from the failure, we're able to draw lessons and do something better. Agility in the organization also makes everybody flexible over planning, because what planning does, it has a lot of meetings to be done, minutes to be done, back and forth. And as we are doing back and forth, the customers will move from us to the competition that is able to solve their issues very fast. So what happens with the strategic agility? It puts an organization in a place whereby they prioritize flexibility over planning. So you do it first, then we can look at the plans later. It is also a very good thing because it helps organizations to become empowered. We say, and that's what we have talked about, the continuous improvement, continuous learning, continuous trainings. So when things come, for example, the volatile and certain complex environment comes up and the economies are changing, both the leaders and the team members are very prepared to take the risks and the shocks and to move forward. And the same case with diversification. You remember we talked about the container that was steel. Now, what happened was, besides the steel container, the factories also discovered that the customers who buy cooking oil from us, they also have cows that they milk. So apart from the cooking oil, they started manufacturing milking gel. Then they also discovered the same customer who is buying the milking gel and the cooking oil also uses soap. So they were able to start. And nowadays, they have even gone to the next level. They are manufacturing animal feeds. Amazing. How can a factory that was manufacturing cooking oil be now manufacturing animal feeds? You see, that's what we call diversification, thinking, what is it that I can do for a customer? They are adaptable and they're flexible to do, even to diversify for the sake of the customer. So they are able to overemphasize on efficiency and optimization. And most of the times, they don't look at the hierarchy. Who is the leader here? No. The person who is able to support the customer at that moment is the one who takes over the assignment, irrespective, and then they will later on report to the leader about what they did. So that is more or less everybody is empowered to support the company. Another benefit is that it enhances customer satisfaction. Remember, we have cut a lot on the processes, the hierarchy, the delays, and all that. Yeah? It also improves employee satisfaction. Why? Because every employee now feels they're empowered to handle different assignments. But when you put an employee or a team member in just one thing, doing it day in, day out, from January to January, there's a lot of dissatisfaction. So strategic agility in any organization helps the employees to feel satisfied in whatever they are doing, because they know it is not boring. There's a lot of potential for them to apply what they know. It also helps in business resilience. Why? Because we said there's continuous learning and improvement. So even if there's something coming up, team members, the leaders, they are well prepared, and because it has happened before and they're able to handle. So the same spirit, they move it. Even if the economy changes to the worst, they are resilient, and they will not drop the ball. They just continue on with the organization. It also boosts productivity, because we have seen there is a lot of efficiency and effectiveness in service delivery. And so productivity is there also. The empowerment of the team members is there. So there's a lot of productivity, because already there is boosting of the performance. So at the end of the day, what this does, there's a lot of improvement in the economic output and outcomes and growth and profits. Then as we are almost through now with the benefits, it helps prioritize learning over blaming. This one I've talked about it over and over again, that when we talk about strategic agile organizations, they do not blame you for failure. They allow you to do the assignment, and if there is a failure, they're able to draw learnings from that failure and they move on. So when we talk about resources, there is no rigidity. And that's why I said everybody is trained to serve the customers in whichever capacity. So the resources are not only, they are flexible. You as human resource, you can be moved to any place. The same case with resources, financial resources. Anytime you need the financial resources, it is availed, not only for certain departments. So we want to look at our personal level now. What are some of the competencies that we must have for us to move our families, for us personally now to be able to move in agility, and also to move our organizations? Because they are the skills, the ability, the knowledge that we must be having for us now to change our mindset. Remember, one of the words we said about agility is it has a lot to do with our mindset. So we want to look at some of the skills, some of the attributes, some of the abilities that we must have, and some of the knowledge that we need to equip ourselves with. Because as leaders, then we are the ones to, in our small way, we call it Kaizen model. In our small steps, we are the ones who are going now to be applying this agility model to our different organizations, and then we are going to see all the benefits that we have talked about. One of the agility competencies or attributes that we must have is to foresee, to predict, to expect. You look at where you're coming from for the last 1 quarter. How have we done as an organization? As a team, how have we done? As a family, how have we done? Children in school, look at their books. How have they been able to do? So that skill is developed, and it is developed with time. Without sitting down and looking back, you might never have it. In fact, some things will just happen and people will be like, I didn't see this coming. Why? Because they did not have the skill of anticipating or expecting or predicting, or even forecasting. If this has happened in the last 3 months, then in the next 3 months, this is what I see happening. If this child has been able to get these points, then in the next 3 months, there are few things we can adopt, there are few things we can flex, there are few things we can learn, and change this narrative to something else. The same thing with organizations. If our profit for the first 1 quarter was this, how do we improve on this? How do we do this better? So we should be able to predict or forecast. And this will be a deliberate effort and move for us to acquire that skill. So it is looking beyond the immediate term, looking beyond how we are doing right now to future. Then the other competence that we must have is sensing, or detecting. As we move on now to like now Q2, we're in the month of April. Per week, what have you detected? What have you identified? What is that has made you raise your alarm? What is it that you can see that is going on? You should be able to perceive that as a leader, or even our team members. When we engage them and involve them, they'll be able even to discern and detect this is not going on right. And we should be able to flex so that we are able to move on very well. Then the other one is responding. Remember we said something about customers giving us feedback. Once we receive the feedback from the customer, we can choose to do two things. We can choose to respond, to answer, to acknowledge, to work on whatever they have said. We can choose to go back to the customer and call them and tell them, thank you very much for the feedback. This has been addressed. We can decide to do that. But on the flip side, we can decide to keep quiet. So what happens is most customers are not able to give us feedback. But the day they give us feedback, we should be very excited because they are representing 90%. We learned the other day, 90% of customers would rather just go with their bad services at home and never come back to us. When you find one customer giving you feedback, be very excited and respond very fast. So as leaders who are in the agile market, in the agile environment that we are leading right now, we must be having that skill of responding, acknowledging, and reacting very fast. And let me just mention something here. Feedback, acknowledgement, and response must be immediate. It should be very quickly responded to. If a customer tells you something, let's talk about the furniture that was to be done. It was supposed to be 5 sets together, 1, 2, 3, 5 together with a metallic back and some other conditions. And then the customer tells you, when you are finishing, the finishing was not very well done. And then they give you that feedback even before collecting the seat. Please do not tell them to go with the seat and then you'll call them back. No, the moment they give you their dissatisfaction feedback, take that seat and work on it very fast, and then ask them, is the shade the one you wanted? When they are satisfied, let them go with it. Because once you do not work on it, they'll go home dissatisfied, but they'll never give you more business. So step by step, you start losing the number of customers that you have. So we must have that skill of responding very fast. Some people delay feedback or response, which works against the organization. Then another skill that we need is to be adaptable and very flexible. Some people are not flexible and we call them rigid. So we need to be very flexible, look out in the environment, get feedback from our customers, and improve very fast. And also, as we are improving ourselves as leaders, we need also to improve our teams. We should also be able to know how to navigate change. Can I tell you something? That change is something that is inevitable. We can never evade. It will always be there. Even change of climate. Today it is not raining, but tomorrow when you wake up in the morning, it is raining. How do you adapt to that rainy season? Will you sit back at home and not go to work? So as leaders, we must be able to know how to navigate change, because most of the teams that we'll be working with, or the ones we work with, will not be willing to change as fast. So they'll need to be explained to, they'll need to be shown the future of this change you're talking about. So we are the first ones who should be driving that change. We should actually call ourselves change agents as leaders. So we must be able to see the end goal, from where we are standing, you know? So, and then now we drive the change to the teams in a nice way, and we are going to see how to do that. We should also be able to have the skills of thinking strategically. And thinking strategically is very simple. It is standing on top of the table and looking at 360 degrees. If we go like this round, the structure, the employees, the resources available, the customers, how will we perform? So you think strategically and in a broader perspective, knowing that we are not only controlling the staff and the teams that we are leading, we are looking at the end goal. The end goal of this organization is to make profit. Those of us in businesses, none of us wakes up in the morning to go and make losses. So we should be able to have that strategically thinking mentality or the skill. The beauty is, if you have not gone for the course, we have 2 courses. Strategic leadership. If you have not gone through it, kindly, we call it strategic leader. If you have not been able to go through it, kindly make sure you enroll after the graduation. The reason being, it helps you think outside the box. It helps you think beyond this year to the next 5 years, and so on and so forth. And it's a process. So up to that point, I want to ask now, how can organizations become agile? How can we also become agile? Us personally, in our personalities, in our families, in our teams, in the organizations that we are working, how can we all become agile? Remember I said, an organization is as good as its people, the people who work there. So we are the ones first to adopt the agility mindset so that our organizations can become the same. So one of the things that we can do is that we can hire and inspire people with core values, especially if we are hiring for our businesses or if we are hiring for our organizations. Those are some of the things that we should be listening to keenly as we do interviews and as we do recruitment. Once we recruit people, during the induction process, as they are getting to know their places, what they'll be doing and all that, we should let them know our core values from the word go, so that they're able to see whether they'll be able to flex themselves or they opt off before they get very deep into the organization. So it's very important to put that at the back of our mind, that the people we need to hire, right? And also once we hire, we need to inspire people, either during induction, during placement, transfers, and so on and so forth. So we should also adopt the culture of continuous learning. I remember this one, we also talked about it. Every day, let us learn. Like the way I want to congratulate you very much for coming for this session, because I know you will go with 1 or 2 things that you will put in place, even in your personal level, to work on so that you become an agile person. So we must also adopt a culture of continuous learning. We must also encourage our team members to be continuously learning. And nowadays, we have the online platforms. We can always be learning. Then the other thing, some of the areas I wanted us to look at when you talk about strategic agility in organizations, there are 3 things that we normally look at very much. One of the things is leadership, because everything starts and falls in leadership. So if our leader is flexible and adaptable, and they are able to do things quickly without a lot of hierarchy and a lot of back and forth, you will also see the team members doing the same. So when our leaders adopt agility model, they allow a lot of creativity and also collaboration with the team members. There's a lot of communication which is effective. If a customer comes and they are saying this is what they want, it is done even without them being consulted. And at the end of the day, it helps us to trust each other, because the leader trusts the team members to perform and deliver. And also there's a lot of accountability. And this is whereby we say the team member will go and deliver to the customer, but later on, report now to the leader. This is what we were able to do. We served this and this and these customers. This is the feedback, and so on and so forth. So we have the leadership agility, which is very key, and that is where we all fall. We also have the cultural agility. This is cultures, different. We should be able to understand and accept that people are coming from different walks of life. It can be family background, environmental background. We are coming from different counties, different schools, different environments, you know, all those. How now do we understand all those culture and integrate them in our organization so that when we are talking about our work and our goals and policies and activities and delivery and customer care, we are talking one language. We are not talking what this one does, from where they come from this one, the culture and all that, and their ways of life. Then the other one is business agility, whereby we are looking at a company changing with the environment very fast before the competition changes. So we also saw, we have seen that we adopt a culture of continuous learning, then embrace agile methodologies. There are different agile methodologies that I want to give you an assignment to go and check. The different agile methodologies that we can employ in our different personal capacities and also in our organizations and teams. Then the other thing is, for organizations to become more agile, they need to empower their teams so that the teams can have the confidence to always deliver quickly and even with value as the customers demand. So this can only be done through continuous trainings and also continuous improvement of the teams. We also have the cross-functional teams. That is what I talked about before, whereby I said we will not only receive communication from up to down, but we can receive it from across, we can receive it from down up, and we encourage people working together from different levels, you know, just to deliver an assignment. That is what we call GABA in Kaizen. So that is those are some of the things that organizations can do to become more agile. And also the last one, and not the least, to prioritize customer needs. It's very important for us to know what are the customer needs. What do they need? And by the way, let me tell you, you're also one of the customer. I'm sure all of us are customers in different places. What is that one thing that you want your organization to do when you go in the morning to have something done for you? Be it a shop, be it in the petrol station, be it you're going to do shopping in the market. What is that one thing you want them to do? So you want them to prioritize you. You don't want to go to an organization, stand before the reception, and they're still continuing with a phone call because they're talking to their friends, asking them, where are you going for the weekend? And so on and so forth. So here we have some companies, examples of companies that have adopted strategic agility methodology. And one of them is Amazon. As I know, we know Amazon and what it used to do before. And right now, agility means it is adapting to the changing environment, economic, complex, it is complex, you know, volatile and all that. So Amazon has been able to quickly adapt to the changing market conditions, and they are now storing data in the cloud computing. And so they have come up with different innovative solutions, and especially for shopping. And that's why when you want a book, when you want this and that, you just tell someone, go to Amazon, you'll find it there. So what they have done, we now do not have to go to the bookshop anymore. We don't have to go for shopping anymore. You don't have to go to America or to any country to shop. You only need to go to Amazon and look for what you want, and you get it. So that has really changed the shopping mentality and mindset of the world, actually. For Google as well, it has come up with a very nice policy for the employees, and they call it 20% time policy. So this is whereby employees are encouraged to spend 1/5 of their time working on side projects. So you're not 100% working for the organization you work for. Can you imagine your organization telling you, you don't have to come here from 8 to 5, but you can come from 8 to 3, and then from 3 to 5, you can go and do your side work. That's what Google has done. So what has come as a result, as I was doing the research, I saw that there's a lot of productivity there's a lot of satisfaction by the employees, and they're able to even do much more than what they're expected to do. And that's why now Google is a giant now in the IT space. So the other one is Netflix, where we started with those cassettes, and then we came to CDs, and then we went to something we used to go and collect movies in a CD. We come, now, but Netflix changed that, and now they have shifted now, to online streaming. I'm very sure nowadays people don't even have to buy TVs because they can watch everything on their phones. So that is what flexibility has done for Netflix. They have listened to their customers. Customers are always on the move. Customers have no time to go and buy the CDs somewhere and all that. And so they have said, we will do this for you. We will remove everything for you. You'll be flexible. What do you want? I just want at a click of a button to get the movie I want. So that's what they have done. So now I have a question as I finish. Please share with us some of the Kenyan companies that have adopted strategic agility methodology. And these companies, they don't have to be nationals. They can even be your local, your local person. Kindly share with us, and I would like somebody to unmute. Unmute and share with us, even somebody like you used to be a customer for, but from the lessons today, there are few things you have seen that person has been able to change and to fit in the current business environment. I want to open this for the next 2 minutes. Kindly share with us. Yeah, I can see something on the chat. Safaricom, yeah. Naomi, kindly share with us something about Safaricom.
Good evening. Having listened to you and thinking about issues happening along with Safaricom, we started even with very poor network. These days, it's very difficult to encounter network issues. We started buying credit that was airtime. Lazima ungeenda, you buy those 2 cards where you used to scratch. These days, I don't even know whether they are there. There are many other ways of buying it. They have introduced many ways of they have diversified. Other than being making communication easier, they have introduced issues like M-Pesa with their investment groups, or they're buying land and selling it to their, what are they called? There's a circle. They have introduced a circle. They've done school. I think, that was my thinking.
Awesome. There's a lot of innovation, and also there's a lot of flexibility. Awesome. Thank you very much. Yeah. And you can share with us something about Copia. I've seen Copia. Can you share with us a few things that you have identified? You can unmute. Okay, we can have Nelly. Nelly Kimani has given us a very nice one. This one, we all agree. Nelly, kindly unmute and share with us. Nelly?
Yes. Yeah, I noticed, as I was listening, okay, I joined in late, but as I was listening, I noticed that there are those, you talked about diversification, quickly diversifying from one aspect to another one. So before, bars used to be, people used to go only to drink, but then later they started having a pool table inside. So that means you didn't have to go only during the night. You'd go during the day to play pool table. Then now they have car washes. Slowly, they have a butchery. eat area. Next there's a garage, you know. So now when fathers and husbands say napeleka gari kwa car wash, anapitia hapo kidogo, you know.
Yes.
So yeah, that was, yeah, you brought it to light. After listening to this, I said, oh wow, that is I don't think it was intentional, but it happened. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And you know something about it. Now, this is the flip side of being not agile. If you do not listen to the customers and start the car wash, and you're only there to drink alcohol, you know, to sell alcohol, so people will be looking for a car wash that has all these other things you have said, a car wash that has a garage, that has a food place, that has swings for children, that has a swimming pool,
Yeah.
you know, that has a whole family will go, the mother will go there with the girls, the father will go there with the girls, with the boys, you know, and now the children will be playing. So what will happen is people will never visit your joint and they'll leave it. So there's a lot, yeah. Thank you very much. I didn't want us to take much, but I wanted to request a man to share with us. Yeah, Alex, or any man, we have to give a boy child. Yeah, there's even Harrison, kindly, and even Pastor Peter, kindly share with us, Pastor Peter, something, an organization that you can think of that you have seen changing over time. I want to give a man this opportunity. Donald, any man, Tony, Chengori, any man? I want to request a man to share something. And share with us something, an organization that they know. Any? Okay, so let me see, they have not shared anything. So thank you very much. And remember, it is not always easy. Remember, change is never easy. There's a lot of resistance, especially if you're the leader and you're the one driving it. The team members will be asking themselves, what is in there for us? Or why are you pushing it? Why are you pushing us to be agile and the other people? Let me give an example. An organization can decide, I know of a wholesale somewhere that opens at 4 in the morning and they close at 10 in the night somewhere. Some employees will campaign and they'll give negative energy because they'll be asking, why are we opening at 4 and those others open at 8? You know, so sometimes there'll always be resistance, but as a leader, you must be able to firmly inculcate and continuously train them that at the end of the day, we want this organization to outlive us. We want it to continue growing and outlive us. So then you need to have a lot of strategy, as we have seen. We need strategy on who will be coming from 4 and they will serve from 4 to what time, and then another shift from what time to what time, so that there is satisfaction of the employees. So if you see some resistance, it has happened before, and it will always be there to happen because not everybody will buy into your idea. But as long as you're able to see, remember, you're the one to foresee, and you're able to break it down for the team members, everybody will support you. So in summary, in strategic agility for organizations, we need to look at the environment where we are working from. How is it changing? Remember, we have talked about the volatile, ambiguous, and complex. And look at what are we aiming at? We are aiming at making results. So for these results to be made in this VUCA environment, there are a few things that we need to do. And this is where agility comes in. One, our strategy will have to change the way we were doing it. If we needed 10 signatures, 10 emails, and 10 meetings, that has to change. The culture of everybody involved must be embraced. Our systems should then, technologically especially, be upgraded to serve the VUCA environment. Our structures, before you get to the manager, you have to pass through 5 people. No, everybody should be empowered at whichever level to be able to serve the customers. And then the processes, how it is done, it should not be lengthy, it should be very quick and flexible, and also value and quality should be realized. And everything in strategic agility of any organization will start and end with leadership. So thank you very much. I want to appreciate all of you for today's session. And before I sign off, I would want to hear from you. What have you learned today? Kindly open your mic or even chat. What have you learned today? What is your take home today? Just one thing, even a word. Please go to the chats and say, what have you learned today? And I don't want to mention anybody's name because I don't want people to leave. Kindly go to the chats and say, what have you learned today? Let's see how it is. So agility with me. Somebody else? Something you have learned today? Yeah, thank you, Naomi. Leaders should not fear VUCA environment. Awesome. Instead, work smart and be strategic. That's a nice one. For the company to grow, this is a nice one. Ruth is saying responding to customer needs is very critical. Yeah, always. And the response should be immediate, should be very fast. Thank you very much, Reverend Anne is saying for the company to grow as well as the leaders, they must be flexible and move with times. Thank you very much. And I feel like as a leader, thank you very much. Pamela is saying as a leader, be ready to change for the sake of the customer. Awesome. Be ready to change for the sake of the customer. Thank you. Marriott is saying the meaning of the term agility is more clear and feedback is key. Thank you very much. And there's somebody else. Now, before I hand over to the chairman, I need to be agile always. Yeah, I need to be agile always because we have said change is the only inevitable thing in life. It will always happen even without our notice. But yeah, we should be flexible. So thank you very much. And then I want to say thank you very much for tuning in. And also for the interaction. I have enjoyed myself. And I look forward to great testimonies coming from you. Thank you very much. And I want to give it back to our sister, Ruth. Ruth, back to you.
Thank you very much. Oh, it was awesome. I think I had told you about it. We are not disappointed. Yes, thank you so much. I learned a lot. Yes, thank you, Naomi. Please put those virtual claps or any emoji that you think fits appreciating our speaker for today. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Grace. It was eye-opening. Yes, I can see Nelly, Tony, Anne, our very own president. Claps are coming from everywhere. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the talk. It was very comprehensive. We've learned a lot. We are very challenged. Yes, we just and I like the fact that you actually brought it home. It was not just about Amazon and Google. You brought it home right to even our kiosks and our small Juakali businesses. And so I know what I've taken away for my small Juakali business. Yes, and maybe I'm going to be one of those people who's going to be giving you a testimony. Thank you so much. I don't know why we did not mention Equity Bank, because I think it is one of the best examples of agility. It just revolutionized banking in Kenya. Yeah, thank you. And I know, I mean, if we gave you that, you can tell us a lot, and we really appreciate. Thank you, and God bless you. I can see we are right now at 9:30, but before we close the meeting, I think the best thing I can do is welcome the founder and the CEO of this organization to just do a roundup. He can say hello to us and welcome the visitors. Maybe you could actually put an emoji to show if it's your first time to join GLN. Would you please just put an emoji? I promise that I will not ask you to speak. We just want to know if we have any visitors in the house. Anything to identify yourself, put it on the chat, or just a reaction somewhere. Okay, so it seems like we are all part of the family. Okay, so I'm just going to ask Mr. Joseph Kerry, who is the CEO and founder of this organization. We like to call him our president. Mr. President, karibu sana. Close the meeting for us and just tell us something. Welcome.
Wow, thank you so much, our COO, Chief Operations Officer, Ruth. We really appreciate. That was really very interactive, very enlightening, a lot of messages flowing. That's when you know that you have connected. And thank you so much, Dr. Grace, for bringing this home. I think one thing I've liked is you've really brought it home in terms of mindset, that agility is about our mindset. So that gives us space to start from immediately where we are. So it's not a conversation that is far away. It's a conversation that we have some control over. We can challenge ourselves. How have I been addressing issues, and how can I be able to probably make a shift in terms of how I've been addressing issues. So I just want to appreciate you. And I have 3 questions, just very simple, to reflect on what we have learned as we bring this to a close, to see how we have appreciated this. So I want to ask these 3 questions. Yeah, and I would invite your response just in a minute or so. So who should love a product or our products or services more? Should it be A or B? Think about that product or that service that you're offering. Who should love it more? Should it be A or should it be B? Just as simple as that. Yeah. So the product that we are offering, who should love the product more? Yeah. Thank you, Anne. You're saying B, saying B, you're saying B. Wow. You're saying A, Teresia, you're saying A. Yeah, thank you. Nelly, you're saying B. So we have a number on B, a number on A. And maybe Nelly, what would be the justification for B, just for the purpose of learning?
I think once a customer loves something, they'll keep coming.
and you as a manufacturer, you're preparing it for them. You're meeting their need. So if they love it more, they'll keep coming. You're supplying, you're solving their problem.
Wow.
Yeah. So if they love it more, they'll keep coming.
They will keep coming. Yeah, they will keep coming. Thank you so much. How about Teresia Waidera? What is the rationale? Teresia Waidera, if you're in a position.
Good evening, leaders.
Good evening, Teresia.
I'm thinking of it in a different way. If the customer will get a product from the manufacturer, so if the manufacturer will not love what he's making or what he's producing, definitely it will trickle down. It will be of poor quality, or it will have some mishaps because this is the manufacturer. So he has to make the very best for the customer to appreciate and to buy the product. So for me, I would say the manufacturer should love the product he's making or producing first before it gets to the customer.
Wow. I like the discussion. I like the debate. And this is a chicken versus egg kind of a conversation. But just in a general view is, I think we have used this scenario for companies that they were left with their products and customers moved on. And we like saying that, yes, love the product, but also ask ourselves, do customers still love my product? Do customers still love my product? So that I'm not left with that very nice phone, and yet customers have already moved. So it's a chicken versus egg. The two sides of the coins are important, and I'll want to leave it at that. Who is the most agile? Is it A, B, C? This is just for the purpose of learning. We are not judging, but just the purpose of learning. Who is the most agile? This is my last question. Then we wind up. Who is the most agile? Is it A? Is it B? Is it C? This one, I think we can even just unmute. One or two people can say something. Yes, Susan?
Oh, God. Oh, it's A.
Yes, Susan Kimani? Yeah, on the chat, I can see Anne, you're saying E. E, this is sort of a telecom service company. I think we mentioned one of the companies here in Kenya. I can pick at least maybe a few observations just on the chat, A, B, C, D. And Dr. Grace said, this thing is not far away. We are looking within our environment as well. Teresia, you're saying A. Where are we, the others? Where do we belong? Who is the most agile here? Nelly, you're saying E. Yeah. Yeah, and I believe all of us are thinking through. I think one thing I like with A, and this is the observation that I've made, and maybe most of us have also experienced this. It's very rare to ask a hawker something and they tell you they don't have. I don't know if we are in the same WhatsApp group. Yeah, very, very hard. They will always have whatever you need. It's raining, it's umbrella. The rain disappears quickly. There's something else, the handkerchiefs and many other things. So, and this is what Dr. Grace also talked about, how quickly we scan the environment and align to the customer. I've seen also even the others, D, I see an element of D, and very strong opinion on E. Yeah. So I think we are saying this is part of us. This is part of where we are. And I will leave you with this. Use the listen strategy to be able to adapt. One is learning agility, ever learning, as we have been told by Grace. Look for insights in the learning. Leverage on social capital. What are the customer stakeholders saying? And then it's about taking risks as well. Sometimes you have to experiment. Not sure it will come out as you want, but you have to always build resilient systems. And then Dr. Grace has talked about environment awareness. Very, very important. We are in a very ferocious, very dynamic environment, as you've said. So what are the trends? And then finally, novelty. Embrace innovation, creativity, and adaptability. So just remember about listen strategy as a way of just reflecting on what we have learned today on how to lead in this very agile organization. And remember, we are talking about global leaders. So we'll find ourselves in some spaces that we are not familiar with, and we have to adapt. We have to be agile. We have to look around and see what is happening. I went to South Korea and I found they are not using spoons. They are using those chopsticks. And quickly you have to adapt to the new environment. You have to learn at night before getting to the restaurant tomorrow, having a meal. You have to look at on YouTube, how are these holding those chopsticks? So the world is dynamic. Today we are here, tomorrow you are in another space, and we have to quickly adapt to the new environment. So I want just to appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for attending this. I believe this has built up to the summit. Our speaker was supposed to be with us, but she has told me she's doing a lot of research. She's trying to finalize to record some few videos here and there. She's really taken a lot of time to prepare for us on Saturday 20th, so that we can now pick it up from where Dr. Grace has paused, and then we lift it up to a higher level. And part of the people who will also be in the discussion group, Dr. Grace is among the many other people that will be there in the discussions groups, so that we can really maximize the benefit of that day. So we look forward to meet on 20th of April at the Gracia, and all the systems are there. We were there today looking around, checking that things are well in place, and that's we are happy to prepare for you. Otherwise, this is what we do every month. So next month there will be another monthly reflection, and Ruth will be able to guide us when that time comes. Thank you so much. I think from me, Ruth, that's all. I want to return the meeting back to you as you bring the meeting to a close. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you for challenging our thinking and adding to this. Sorry, I'm off video. We just lost power, but I hope it's going to be restored soon. So, and also thank you very much, everybody, for staying on. It just means how much you value adding more knowledge to yourself, and God bless you so much. Yes, thank you, Mr. President. That is from Pamela. Yes, and hoping to see you on Saturday on the 20th as we get to learn more, and we get to, yes, hear from the captains of industry. So we'll just unmute and say the words of the grace, and then we'll close the meeting. Okay, and now may the grace
Of
of
our
our
Lord
Lord
Jesus
Jesus Christ
and the
and
love
the
of
love
of
of God
God,
and
and
the
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 fellowship of the Holy Spirit
Spirit
be
be
with
with
us.
us now
now
and
and
forevermore. Amen.
forevermore.
Amen.
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 Thank you so much, and have a